not speaking of your dance moves, speaking of the demise of the PGA Tour. Hello everyone, welcome back to Here We Golf. We are filming this week on location in Sherwood Forest Centre Parks.
Beautiful view.
Beautiful backdrop. My name is Dan.
I'm Jay, and you know what? No coffees this week, just beers.
Just beers. Cheers.
Cheers.
We're recording episode 3 of the podcast. Still no golf played, but plenty watched and plenty to talk about on this week's podcast, and we'll hopefully get out on the golf course next week.
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing? Good week?
Good week, yeah. Not too bad. Watched a little bit of golf this week, did you?
Just a little bit, again, with the time zones.
Yeah.
DP World Tour being in Australia.
Yeah.
Caught the highlights more than anything. Difficult to watch any of it live. And in the world of me and my family, it's just the busiest week of the year. We've got 4 birthdays and a wedding anniversary, and we've come away on holiday as well. So, yeah, golf has had to take a bit of a backseat this week in terms of how much I could watch, but we still managed to squeeze a little podcast in whilst we're away.
Mm-hmm.
So, first up, what have we got? We're going to talk about the PGA Tour and the upcoming Hero World Challenge event. We've got the DP World Tour, just had the Australian Open down in Oz, which was rigged. We want to talk about this week's Nedbank Golf Challenge in South Africa. Yeah, and then a couple little points we wanted to have a little chat about: flexible golf memberships and
the like.
Yeah, and then on this week in golf history to wrap it up, and that'll be episode 3, I think. So, Hero World Challenge, PGA Tour event.
Not a fan.
Unofficial. Hosted by Tiger. What are you?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. The reason being is it's an invitational. There's 20 players invited. No Tony Finau. But they get world ranking points. You know what it's like with the Live Tour.
I was reading up about it. It baffles me that last place in a 20-man invitational can get world ranking points. It just... we thought the Australian Open was rigged. This seems rigged. The top players play a 54-hole event on Live and get nada. And these guys get hand selected and then
just the PGA Tour.
Just to turn up, get world ranking points.
PGA Tour is not the tour it used to be, though. Remember, so I think the main objective with this tour, it's been going about 10 years, hasn't it? Was to have the top 20 players in the world.
It's been at the Albany for 10 years. I'm not sure how it's been going. But yeah,
but the top 20 players in the world aren't on the PGA Tour anymore, like they used to be.
No,
DP World Tour, Live Golf has got some of the best players in the world now.
I'm sure like McIlroy was probably invited along, but because he's played quite late into the season on the DP Tour, hasn't he? Gone to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. He's obviously opted out, and that'll be why there's a number of others not playing as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure Max Homa will be there, but he's gone to defend his title in the Nedbank, which we'll touch on as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash of the sort of top 40 in the world, and again that in itself is a bit of a thing with that. It's a bit of an asterisk next to it these days with the fact that the guys on Live aren't earning the world ranking points,
which is crazy, really, still,
despite playing well on Live Tour and winning events and doing well. Like DeChambeau's up there. I think he's 12th in the world at the minute, but that's only through his performance in the majors. So yeah, for me, it's a bit of a nothing event. I think they call it silly season in America.
Yeah,
I think it's just so I mean they probably by their own admission, probably not a lot of point to this event. But yeah, I don't have a huge deal of enthusiasm.
I think the whole of the PGA Tour is silly season. Sorry to you US fans, but I'm just not a fan. Yeah, not a fan. And if you want to come on and defend your tour, feel free to do so. But no, it gets me goat a little bit, the American tour.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the talks with Liv and the PIF are dragging on for so long, it's just... maybe Jay, someone needs to overhaul Mr. Monahan and usurp him of his post and get someone on who's prepared to do good for the world of golf instead of just his tour.
If you pair him in a group with Al Ramayan.
Yeah.
and if they're still taking the time to get their heads together, then I don't think he's the man for it. Egos play a role, money plays a role, obviously, but we'll see. But no, US Tour is getting me
getting you goat.
Getting me goat. So yeah, not a fan.
Speaking of the modern day goat, Scotty is back in action at the Hero World Challenge.
I can't see anyone else winning, to be honest.
World number one, deserved world number one. I think even if the live guys were getting world ranking points, I think Scotty's up there by merit.
Unorthodox swing as well, but
it's his footwork, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's like my footwork. I dance
on the dance floor.
Yeah, it's weird. I hit the ball and just like take about 5 steps back, and I don't know why I do it.
Yeah,
you'll see that soon.
And speaking of that, the Tony Finau's been on the PGA Tour for, not speaking of your dance moves, speaking of the demise of the PGA Tour. Tony Finau, who's just pulled out of this Hero World Challenge this week, and that's fueled speculation of him potentially moving to live, because by all accounts he's good friends with John Rahm, and Rahm wants him on his Legion 13 team.
Which, why wouldn't you though?
Top
player, want a payday.
And especially if I'm probably going to mention this every podcast, but there's going to end up being a merger, and it's all going to come together, and eventually the game of golf is going to get this one Super big tour, Super Tour.
Because
and Finau will probably end up back playing with his mates from the PGA Tour again anyway. So
the DP World Tour is the European Tour.
Go jump and get your family set for life.
That's it. DP World Tour is the European Tour. They're playing in Australia, so it doesn't have the same. You can play anywhere in the world.
But they've gone global. They've accepted the fact that they need to move on, get a bigger audience, go and see. There's a bigger world out there than just Europe, and America is. This PGA Tour is fixed on having it's a little American tour.
Well, it's the same as the American World Series of
the World Series of baseball. It's not a World Series, is it?
Nobody in the world plays. Sorry, Americans, but we're having a bit of a go at you today. But it's just But I'm
a fan of the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching American sports, but American.
Let's go Raptors.
Another point I like to make on that is when you go to the match on a weekend, you support your local club. It's not the same in golf. So there's no reason why you can't have a big world tour, because you don't go to the match every week. You don't go to golf every week to spectate, do you? Because you could be going to Belgium, or you could be going to, I don't know, the Nedbank. You could be in South Africa, Hawaii, anywhere. So there's no reason why a world tour, you get funding from the, to put it on, you'd be able to watch live golf every week. I just think it's better for the game.
Yeah.
But anyone disagrees, let us know in the comments.
I'm looking forward to that day, because it will come. While we're on it, just so you know as well, this is our second attempt at this. The first recording didn't work. We talked for about 40 minutes and it didn't record. So we're repeating ourselves. This is the first time for you. But we didn't mention first time around, but the TGL. Have we got any views on that yet? So that's Tiger and Rory's led sort of,
I think it's great,
rehash of golf and trying to bring it up to modern day time.
I think it's great. I think it will only do good for the game.
Because it's PGA Tour approved. It's kind of co-sanctioned, if you want, and it's got all the guys who haven't gone to live on it. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I don't think it's got. I don't think it's going to have a lot of longevity. It's a bit of a novelty that I think will be fun for a bit, and then probably wear off. But I think it's a good bit of a stopgap until the PGA Tour sorts itself out.
Yeah, because it isn't. It's not there at the moment.
But I will be watching it, because it's something new, it's something different, it's entertaining. Like we talked about last week, golf. People watch golf to be entertained now, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all we've got to say on the PGA Tour. I don't want to go too long about it, because it's this event this weekend's a non-event. Yeah. It's just a bit of a knock at the Albany, as far as I'm concerned.
Which Scotty wins.
Scotty doesn't win. Well, he's had a couple of months off, so it could be a bit of rust, who knows, but Scotty should be winning that.
Oh, no, not rust.
Yeah. Rust and
reindeers.
Rust and reindeers, there you go. DP, World Tour.
Yeah,
this is our wheelhouse, isn't it? We love this.
I love the DP World Tour.
It's a global product, and they're happy to expand. Well. And there's noise coming out this week of DP and talks with Piff about, you know what, PGA Tour can do what they want. Let us go and do this Super Tour ourselves. And it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. Guys on the PGA Tour would be like, could I come and play?
Yeah.
DP World Tour anyway. So Australian Open, Handa Australian Open. Hosted over a couple of courses, Kingston Heath and Victoria this week. Won by, well, it was rigged, wasn't it?
It was rigged.
Absolutely rigged.
Great story, actually.
American
skinny lad. Ryggs
Johnston.
He fighting for his qualification only a few weeks ago, and he's got in the Open, hasn't he?
Yeah, through winning this. Yeah. So yeah, he qualified from Q School a fortnight ago. So 2 weeks ago, you wouldn't have even thought he wouldn't have even been expecting to play.
No.
But he's played in Australia in the last 2 events. I think he came about 42nd in the Oz PGA last week, and then he's gone and won. Like, based on that, he's just come through Q School, finished 42nd. There's absolutely no way you're looking at him in your fantasy team.
No, absolutely not. But he showed great composure in the last round there to keep on it, because he was sort of going through the motions, wasn't he? And then he just stepped up and he kept very consistent. I was very impressed by him. So, watch this space for Ryggs Johnson.
Aye.
A few notable mentions. After Barnrat played well.
Yeah, it's nice to see him back on the leaderboards, because he's been on the tour for a good few years now, and for the last couple of years he's been a bit quiet. And the rest of the sort of leaderboard was taken up by the Australian contingent, really. Curtis Luck, Mark Leishman was up there, Harrison Crowe, Jasper Stubbs, Lucas Herbert, and last week's winner as well, Elvis Smiley.
I thought Curtis was lucky to finish second.
Curtis was lucky.
Curtis Luck.
And in amongst them names as well, Wenyi Ding from China, who's just come onto the DP World Tour from the amateur game and is a hot prospect, one to keep an eye on as well. Wenyi Ding.
Cam Davis played well, did he?
No, Cam Davis was another sort of home favourite, and he missed the cut, didn't he? Just one shot outside of the cut line.
Both Cams really didn't play too well. I mean, Cam Smith made the cut, but...
Yeah, 3 under he finished, and a tie for 39th, which by his standards, he'll have been open for better at home. Jakob Skov Olsen, Danish lad who's just come through from the amateur game, and Nygaard Peterson, we mentioned last week, also Danish. They both made the cut and had solid weekends. So they've started their life on the DP Tour.
Some good golfers,
and
it has been for a while.
Angel Iora as well, who we also mentioned last week, also had a solid week, finishing tied for 23rd. So plenty of it's a good advert for the Q School and the Challenge Tour. These guys coming through and competing straight away. They're like ready-made sort of products. They don't. It's as if you don't need the experience any longer on the tour
to do well.
It's like they're already got the mentality. I mean, obviously got the game because they're getting onto the tour. But then I think once you get to that level, it's a mentality of having the.
Have you ever heard the stories about the Challenge Tour and how difficult it is? I mean, the prize money is nothing. They're having to travel all over the world to play, pay for the hotels, pay for everything, and
no guarantee of anything.
No guarantees. You've got to be special to even play on that tour. Yeah. So it's so difficult. But yeah, it's good. Good to see. But you know, if there was a super tour, these smaller tours like the Corn Ferry Tour and the Challenge Tour would get a bit of funding. You've got the parachute payments in the Premier League going down to the Championship. Something like that, which helps young golfers out, makes it more inclusive.
It'll fit drip down.
Of course it will.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the Australian Open for this week, held at Victoria and Kingston Heath. Fantasy DP World Tour then.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look back at what happened to our teams as a result of those results.
I slipped down the leaderboard due to Cam Davis being the captain. I just thought he'd have a really good week. But it wasn't to be. And do you know what? You can't win every week. You can't play well every week. No matter who you are, Tiger's never played well.
It's one of them as well. He missed the cup. Not only missed the cup by one shot, but he missed it by, I think, he was tied for 66th. So he's literally, he needed sort of 3 of 4 players who had like 2 or 3 holes to go to drop a shot.
Yeah.
And 2 of the 3 dropped the shot, so he ended up tied for 66th. So that's the margins. If all 3 of them had bogeyed, he makes the cut and a tie for 55th, and then you never know, he could go 6 under, and have you a decent week. So, but yeah, you want at this early stage, you want a solid captain, because of the double points, you can't. I mean, you can't win it, but you get your captain wrong, you can put yourself out of it quite early. So so you're down in 12th in the Here We Golf Pod YouTube mini league at the minute.
Snake slithering up the leaderboard into 4th.
Yeah,
and remember, there's a box of Pro V1s on offer here for the winner of the opening swing. So
the opening swing. So so this was the second event, wasn't it? Yeah, I've managed to drag myself up to 4th place in the league, behind the top 3 of 3rd place Kevin Renton with Renton 75 on 1714. West of the Woods, Matt Yu on 1812.
Is that you, Matt Yu? West of the Woods?
Speaking of Woods, our leader is John Wood.
Oh my God.
We're a very Wood themed podcast, isn't it? Yeah. But John Wood, 1876.
Same total, captain as you.
Team Neiman. Premier Crew. And yeah, that's why he's done well. So he had captain Joaquin Neiman. Matt Yu, West of the Woods, had a captain in the Joaquin Neiman as well. And Matt's had 2 good weeks, but John's had a particularly good week, and that's why he's up there. Just quickly run through my team that got me there. I had, so as I say, I had captain on Joaquin Neiman. I had me little wild card pick that I mentioned last week, Carl Phillips. He finished tied for 46. He made the cut comfortably, but then I had a bad 3rd round. I want to say he shot 8 over. I think he went from -6 to +2 or something like that. But then bounced back on the final day. So he got me a decent amount of points, 136 points. Cam Smith and Minwoo Lee ticked over without doing a great deal, but got some decent points. And then Micheluzzi, and then I had Cam Davis like yourself. So yeah, I'm on a total of 1708 at the minute. Overall rank of 4208.
Not bad. I think looking forward to this week, though, it's going to be a better week for us spectators in England anyway. It's only 2 hours ahead, so
time difference, yeah.
You can watch a bit of golf.
Makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I've gone with, for this week, the Nedbank in South Africa. I've gone quite a strong South African contingent. They've always produced a load of decent golfers, South Africa. You've got the likes of Ernie Els, the Big Easy, Retief Goosen, Thomas Aiken
and Kitsea recently in recent years.
I haven't captained.
Who stays in? We'd be sat here all day listening to them, to be fair.
Yeah. I've gone with Max Homer to captain. My captain, I think he's expected to win. He's a good player on the tour, on the PGA Tour, isn't he?
Defending champ. Yeah.
I've gone with Tristan Lawrence. He's a really good player. Watched him at Wentworth he got beat in a playoff a couple of months ago.
Excuse me.
Really good player. I think he'll do really well at home. Bazoodan Hoot, same. Looks a bit like Justin Rose, doesn't he? Van Velzen, Tom McKibben, good young player. I think he'll play well this week.
He had a bit of a breakout season this year. I think he'll kick on again. I'm looking forward to watching him this season.
Yeah. And then Van Rooyen, bit of an outside pick, but probably knows the course quite well. I've followed him quite over his career. Good player, solid player. And just laughing out of there behind it.
Really? Got so yeah, here we golf Dan.
Oh God.
Captain of Tristan Lawrence. So like you've picked, obviously he's at the top of his game at the minute. He pushed Rory up until the final week on the DP World Tour race to Dubai. The season just gone. He's owned by 77% of teams. So I think like you need to pick at this early stage. If you don't pick someone who's highly owned and then they do well, you're hiding to nothing. So
yeah,
for that reason, I've got Tristan Lawrence as my captain, Max Homer because he's highly owned, and like you said, Bazoodan Hoot as well as also over 65% owned. The other three, I've got Corey Connors from Canada, who's a solid player on the PGA Tour, and in this field, he's got probably a bit more class than what else is on offer.
Agreed, yeah.
Nikolai Højgaard from Denmark, another highly owned player who's always solid every time he plays, and then Sebastian Soderberg, who is 7% owned. Yeah, so I thought it was going to be higher, to be honest, because over the last few years at the Nedbank, he has performed well and been in and around the leaderboard.
Swedish lad,
yeah. So he got off to a decent start at the DP Tour last season and faded. So I'm hoping he starts fast again, and that makes up my 6. Yeah, so fingers crossed them 6 will get me a bit further up the leaderboard, and I'll
fingers crossed mine do as well, because I'm not doing very well.
Yeah, you need to get a wriggle on that. Yeah, you need to get a wriggle on.
Just heading back there to the Australian Open. I loved the format, which there's a multi-club format, so they played 2 courses this time. Like the Dunhill, we went to Carnoustie, St Andrews, and Kingsbarns. I'd love to see that more in say they had a Southport or a Northwest competition where the likes of Hoylake, Lytham, Birkdale, Hillside all got one round per
day. Yeah,
I think that'd be great. I think it's something that they should look at. It's better for the spectators. It's better for everyone. And
no, I agree. I think because of the monopoly that the Open has on like having the same rota of courses over like every decade, you'll see the same course hosting an event. I think like something like that could put these courses who don't get the opportunity on the map.
Yeah.
To show that they can host something and maybe break into that.
Like round us, we're quite lucky, aren't we?
We're
not lucky because we can't afford it.
Yeah.
That's all. We can go and look at it. We can't afford it.
Yeah. Take the dog for a walk around there. That's about it.
We've got SNA, great course, lovely links course. Then you've got Hillside next to it and Birkdale. Oh, it's unheard of to have such an amazing set of courses.
Yeah. And up at Lytham, or Liverpool the other way. So yeah, that's just obviously in our little part of the world, but there'll be I think there's probably plenty of courses out there who would love the opportunity to host a top event and probably capable of doing so. Because I like that format, and the Dunhill was one of the best events I've been to.
Brilliant.
Probably having that multi-course sort of
it spreads the spectators out, so you're not overloading a course. I think Hillside struggles with crowds, doesn't it? It's not set up for crowds, so
yeah. But they can't get the massive grandstands and like the ones you need for the Open.
We don't need it in a multi-course tournament.
No, the crowd spreads out across like the 3 courses.
And then the Saturday and Sunday at Birkdale, which can handle crowds. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm all for that. I agree. Good point. What we didn't touch on as well, the Asian International Series that we mentioned last week. We had we talked about Anthony Kim making an appearance. There's just a little update on him. He finished in tied for 37th. Got himself some first cut he's made in over 12 years, and in the process earning some world ranking points as well for the first time. So he's moved up to the lofty heights of 2,300 in the world. But that's he's on the right path, and
he's clearly a talented lad, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean he's still.
I mean, he said in that time off that he didn't even own clubs at some point. So
that's crazy.
He's going to need to work hard to get back to any level.
But making a cut straight away is unbelievable.
Yep,
tough. As you just said, you've got to be special to play in the Challenge Tour. Never mind, come back after years out and make a cut. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, he struggled on live. He's not really made any sort of dent in the live game. I think his highest finishing position was about 40th out of the 60 odd playing or whatever. So he's slowly getting there. Hopefully he can kick on and keep going.
Yeah.
Fair play. Last week we did on this week in golf history. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it again. Found a website or a blog set up by a guy called Cliff Schrock, cliffschrock.com. And it updates daily with little bits of news of what's gone on this day in golf history. So I've been having a little read of that this week. It's quite interesting. But I picked out that in 1993, in this week, the Skins game took place, which was billed as the King versus the Kids. And it was an event where Fred Couples, Paul Azinger, and Payne Stewart were supposed to be playing with John Daly. John Daly got suspended by the PGA Tour. So 64-year-old Arnold Palmer got subbed in. And that's why it got billed as King versus the Kids. And but at his age and all the others, probably at the peak of the game, no one was holding out much hope that Palmer would be able to get anything, and that's how the way it turned out. Palmer got 0 skins and walked away with $0, whereas Payne Stewart and Fred Couples both took home 9 skins and $280,000 and $260,000 each, respectively.
Not a bad knock.
Not a bad knock. At that age, that's like 31 years ago.
Yeah,
1993.
Few quid.
That's a decent little day's pay for a round of golf at that time, back in that day, isn't it? So that's on this week in golf history.
Yeah. I think the only thing I wanted to add was about flexible golf.
Flexible golf memberships.
What's your thoughts on it? I've seen a lot of playing more golf, and this is not an ad for playing more golf at all, but you need to make golf more inclusive. And if you're looking at sort of joining a club, you're looking at 1,200 quid a year, if not more, 1,500, 1,600. The decent courses, you're looking at $2,000. I've seen this Play More Golf website, and it's looking at like 450 quid. You buy your points and you play your home course. You can play whatever course you want. I quite like it. I think it's really good. As I said, it's not an advert. We don't do paid ads, but
I like the concept of it.
I do. Yeah.
I think it probably could be better. I've not got any sort of suggestions on how it could be, but I like the idea of it, of trying to make it more affordable, more accessible to people. And I think the game over the last sort of 10 years has done a lot in terms of modernising and getting the younger and attracting people who wouldn't ordinarily get involved in golf. YouTube's probably helped a lot in that. But yeah, in terms of affording it, paying for a golf membership across 12 months is a big commitment. But no, it's one of them, because the golf clubs are always trying to get as much money in as they can, aren't they? They want to charge as much as they can without alienating the members, and the members want to get it for as cheap as possible. So it's finding a balance. So I can understand why it's expensive, because they've got a lot of overheads, a lot of wages to shell out, and costs and whatever. So
they've got land worth millions. They could easily sell out to a. You seen what happened in Standish Golf Club? He sold out to houses, didn't he? For a few quid. They can't just do that. So they've got to make money. It's a business at the end of the day. But
trying to find a balance, whilst making it more affordable. So obviously, it's a tricky game that they're all trying to do. I like the idea of playing more golf. There's probably a way. I'm not giving it too much thought, because you've only mentioned it to me today. But I think there's probably a way of getting a more accessible, flexible golf membership. You got the 2-for-1 vouchers and green free vouchers as well. Again, not paid ad. That allow people to go to select clubs that subscribe to them schemes, and buy one get one free, green frees. That's a good way of getting people in.
Green free.
Yeah, one green fee free. So yeah, but if anyone's got any thoughts on the cost of golf, what you would do to make it more affordable, any suggestions? Just
like I've seen the golf sims, but it's just not. It's good for practice, but it's not an experience, is it? Like golf, you're not out in the open in the nature, are you?
Yeah, it's not the same. Like I love having a club in my hand and just hitting a ball. Like I like going to the driving range. It just lets off a bit of steam, and you feel better after doing it. But there's nothing quite like getting out on the course and having that in the elements. 9 or 18 holes, like walk around, fresh air, just the challenge. And because it's not just hitting the ball, it's the assessing.
The challenge,
assessing.
Golf's the only game where you're against yourself, and it's hard.
I love it. I just want to get out there more now. So fingers crossed the weather holds up once we get home from Centre Box, and we will be recording actual golf next week.
But we're going to have to leave it there, because we have got to go and see the big man, Santa Claus, and with the kids. So nice to talk to you, everybody.
We have been Dan and Jay.
Here we golf.
And here we golf. And that's us checking out from Centre Parks. Should come get a beer. Go see the big man.
Let's go.
Cheers, lad. That best to record at this time, I tell you.